Well, I don't think that anyone's surprised. They're going to realize that it is the largest on PulseChain by a good margin there. Just looking at the fees that get paid out, looking at just the total liquidity, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a lot larger. Interesting note, though. By the way, we're on DeFiLlama.com. This is a great on-chain analytics tool for anyone out there that wants to check it out. But right now, just looking at all the dexes, and if we scroll down to our list here, we got Uniswap, Radium, PancakeSwap, Yora. Oh, what's this? Number 14. Ah, look at that. PulseX is right up on that dex list. So, double digits, teens, not bad. At the same time, does it quite hit the same level as some of the other ones that have a B for billion? Not quite, but at the same time, that's pretty respectable, I gotta say. And if we look at it, we're going to switch over to Coin Paprika now. Um, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised to see that the main tokens that have the most liquidity there are going to be PulseX, PulseChain, Hex, eHex, and USDC. Big shout out to brother KG and the team over at the Grays Currency. They're number 9 there. So overall, I mean, PulseX still very much is a Richard Hart product, and I think the stats bear that out as much. If we, gosh, where did you go? Flip on over to everyone's favorite website, well, second favorite PulseChain website, right after GoRealDeFi.com. Got your daily stats, but if we go ahead and flip over to our other stats for PulseX itself, I mean, 206 million trades over the lifetime, 24 billion for volume, liquidity. It's an interesting chart because I think you can really see where liquidity got pulled out of the pools when we had that event happen once the incentive token emissions went down a bunch. But overall, by the metrics, it looks like it's a healthy DEX that's functioning. And it's not the only one. If you actually go and we switch back over to DeFi Llama, we go down, we have a handful of exchanges and applications out there that use all the PulseChain network as well. So shout out to Liquid Loans for the lending platform over there, Power City as well. 9 mil, another DEX, 9-inch, another DEX. The Fame and Fiat guys have some swapping as well. And I don't see it, but I know our good friend Fast Abdul has his stuff on there as well. So if you're looking for bullish news, the bullish news is that guess what? There's not just one DEX. There's a lot. And they all are pretty much operational from my knowledge. The only main issue was there was a liquidity issue for one of the pools over on 9mm a while back, but it appears that one has been resolved. If you go look at their price chart, it is recovered as well and looks very much like a normal token if you exclude that one giant wick from the single day that happened. So overall, though, PulseChain, it's looking like it does what it does. There's not much more to say there. We have very operational and effective products over here. So if you're worried about, I don't know, having coins stuck up in liquidity pools or something, odds are, unless it's just the new meme coin 9,271 that you just made today, odds are you're going to be able to trade it, which, in my mind, I think it's great.
PulseX good. I'll pull this tweet up here as well. Ignoring the noise. Look at that buy and burn. One of the coolest features of PulseX, which I'm sure we'll get into as well. So Hex Turbo posted this image. 1 hour burn, 218 million PulseX, around 6K. 6 hour burn, over 1 billion PulseX. 24-hour burn, 1.48 billion PulseX. I was going to ask Graphics, is can you see, and I think you mentioned, you're talking about too, about being able to see burn stats and stuff. When you're looking, actually, I'm not even sure what site this is from. Is this from GoPulse? You guys know where this is from?
I don't know. I wish I knew, honestly, because it would be sweet to see the breakdowns.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, any of these transactions, I wonder if when they're counting the burn, are they counting like the entire, like, I guess all the transactions go. Well, I guess the difference is there a difference between what Unity, like how Unity is burning PulseX versus just the way it gets burned normally in the protocol? Like, would it be counted in this?
It would be. I think it's counted in everything else, because I was noticing that when Whale Pulse, the Pulse Whale alert that shows the burns, it was calculating everything in to the mass that it was talking about on the daily basis when it was first popping off and going like crazy. So I think this is built into all this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and there's got to be a Zenith on the chart on GoPulse too. Was there a chart for the burn? Like, can we see like the burn going up and down? Because that would be pretty cool to see if it's ticked up lately as well.
I don't think there's a chart specifically for the burn. Let me.
Where is it? Midgard. There are some PulseX stats. Let me try this. So the other day, was it we were on stream the other day when we were talking about like where can I find burn stuff? And PulseX buy burn. Here we go. All right, one refresher on this. Look at this daily burn history. Got that chart for you. August 17th, 405 burns over. Is it a billion? Yeah, 1 billion, 1.5 billion on August 17th. So got a little bit of a chart burn history as well.
Nice. That's actually good to know on Midgard.
Yeah.
Cool.
I dropped this in the chat. I don't think a lot of people know about it because I couldn't find it. I was looking everywhere. I'm looking at every stat site. I looked up, even on Midgard, I looked up PulseX. I'm like, well, why can I see a buy and burn thing? And then somebody said Midgard tools, buy and burn. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Okay, nice.
Secret knowledge. And I'll pop over here. One other thing I want to bring up. That was pretty interesting. This one from Storyteller 17. Someone capitulated lows now bridging back money in PulseChain, currently sitting on 700K USDC. It hasn't been deployed yet. That was on August 20th. And then I think today, was it today? Yeah, today, earlier today, just started buying PulseX. So we got some PulseX buys coming through. I don't know if we got any green candles from it, but got some buys at least.
Sick. That's awesome.
I mean, the top line information for PulseX is that as it stands right now, we've burned about 7.6% of the supply, which is a notable bit. So the buy and burn function is working, and it continues to work just fine. And that largely happens when people use the PulseX application, which is the largest DEX on PulseChain, which means that odds are, if I'm pulling out the crystal ball here, it means it's only going to keep burning into the future at very similar rates.
I think that's why, too, I did some research on this the other day, that that's why I think Richard doesn't mention Pitius as much, because on Pitius, everyone's favorite router to get the best deal on PulseChain, it doesn't have to always go through PulseX to get the best deal. So if you just type in like this and we'll just go with like PulseX or something, it'll fetch a price. And a lot of people are like, oh, use PulseX directly to get the maximum buy and burn. And I don't know, it's kind of like, I guess, but at the same time, it's like, do you want the better? I don't know, like it's like what's better for the group versus the individual type of thing. Like it's probably going to use it for part of it at least. But I don't know how seriously people take this as like, are there chat? Let me know. Are there people, are you in here not using Pitius and getting like the best deal on stuff because you're just hardcore want to support the buy and burn, which I respect, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like, anyways, that's my explanation of like why I think Richard doesn't tweet about them more when they're like one of the most go-to products on PulseChain.
Well, we've talked about this in the past, which is that Richard Hart is a big fan of the risk diode, which is that if you are in competition with something, or you don't want to talk about something, or you think that something is negative, the answer is don't talk about it. So Richard obviously created PulseChain and PulseX. Pitius is something that does something slightly different and doesn't directly benefit PulseX, so it doesn't make sense for him to tweet about it a bunch. But from the user standpoint, Pitius is great because it does exactly what you're showing there, which is it's going to find you the most optimal route for all of your different swaps that go on under the hood of the main swap that you're trying to do. So just for example, what we're looking at here is we're trying to swap Pulse into EHEX. Can you back to the route real quick? There you go. So what it's going to do is it's finding the most optimal route through different liquidity pools. So you see there, we're going from wrap Pulse to DAI to Hex, Hex to EHEX. And then at the bottom, we have 10% of your trade that's going to go Pulse to DAI to PulseX, and then PulseX to EHEX. So this is going to help you find the most efficient route wherever it exactly. That's one of the reasons it's good, is it updates live with the aggregate of all the different pools that are across the ecosystem. Like if you look at it right now down at the bottom for 10 or 25% there, it's going to go through the 9mm DEX. The reason that it does that is because the liquidity pools are moving moment to moment based on its own balancing factors that go on. So is this going to get you, the user, the best price? Odds are yes. Is this going to burn the most PulseX? No. Can it burn some PulseX? Yes, if it uses PulseX itself. So again, it goes back to your question is, what are you trying to do out of this? I think that in the world we operate, it's best to try to plan around people being the most optimal, rational actors that they can and get the best bang for their buck. For the average person, that's probably just going to be going through Pitius, finding the most optimal route. if you are a larger whale in the ecosystem, or you particularly care about PulseX and the buy and burn in particular, then it's going to incentivize you to go through PulseX or try to incentivize other people to go through PulseX. But as it stands right now, use what's best for you.
And some pairs too, they're going to go through PulseX for 100% of it, like this one. Like if you want to buy, PulseX with Pulse, and it just updated. For that particular example, it was 100% through PulseX. Now it's 84%, but yeah, it could be 100% at certain times too. Graphics, what do you think? Do you go straight? Do you use aggregators? Do you go straight to the DEX? What is your preferred method of swaps?
I go it depends on where the liquidity is. I typically just go to Piteus unless I know it's like going to be like a Pulse to PulseX swap. Then I'll go to, if I know there's just main liquidity going to be in PulseX, I'll go there. Or especially if I'm helping with onboards, if I know it's just one thing, they want to go to the official links. It's like, this is the thing. It's like you can go to PulseChain.com, then you can go to PulseX. You don't have to have those different links. Just send them to PulseX. So the more advanced the user, the more someone really does care about slippage or trying to really scrape every penny. Just Piteus. And the big reason for me is, PulseX's buy and burn is designed, to really ramp up with volume, and through arbitrage on different pools, moving pricing up and down, you're going to get lots of burn. And really, this is one of those buy and burns where it's going to be creating more of a floor than literally just pushing the price up. And so cumulatively, just from volume, user base, volatility, where we are in the market, it's going to have more of an impact that way than, just trying to push the price up via the volume. Because on an individual transactional level, it's like 0.06 of a penny actually goes towards. So for each individual user to make an impact, it's more impactful for people to just, or for this DEX to just exist on a chain that's getting a lot of volume during the bull run, or the backside of the bull run into the bear. That's really helping this thing more so than just, trying to nickel and dime our way into, 10,000x via this buy and burn.
That's true. Graphics, you did hit something very important there, though, which is one of the intangibles, which is ease of access and user accessibility. I think PulseX probably is the best one out there. Everything else is designed to try to be as accessible as possible. But especially if you're going with new folks, if you can just point to the main ecosystem and like the most credible applications for everything, which is going to be PulseChain if you're on PulseChain, or PulseX if you're on PulseChain, then yeah, it's super easy just to point people there. It's the most reliable, the safest, and the easiest and most intuitive to use in my mind. And it works well with a variety of, or with the most popular wallets anyways.
Exactly. I think it only gets a little bit different depending on if someone wants to come in, let's say they're buying you're saying token 69420 XYZ, and the liquidity could be bigger over here one day, bigger over here the next day, but they're full degen mode, it's Piteus, Yeah. So it just depends on who's doing what really, but yeah, I would 100% agree. You nailed it.
And this is a thread I dropped in the chat. I talked about this the other day, and I think Piteus wrote a whole thread on it too, and I used a little AI to give us a little bit of information too. But it comes up sometimes, and everyone seems to be unclear on it's always another one of those questions where it's like, oh, just use PulseX directly for more. And I really wanted to go through and be like, okay, how does that actually work? Like, why does it work that way? What are people's options? If you are thinking about using an aggregator versus going straight to the DEX, here are the trade-offs. So to each their own on how they use it. I did say here, I guess there could be a box to call it maximize PulseX burn that only uses PulseX root for Piteus if they ever wanted to do a little box or feature like that. But again, individuals are going to pick the best deal most of the time, I would say.
And I wonder, even if they did that, for the amount of work, for the amount, how much would you actually generate additionally, for, I'm sure, the amount of extra work and time and everything to do that. I wonder if it's even, I don't know. You know what I mean? For the people that actually go and do it, maybe you could. It'd probably generate some extra over time, but I'm sure it's so minimal. Just from arbing alone, you're going to burn through every transaction, especially because the fees are so small, and the spread between the different pools can be so low that, when something pushes up 1%, you have 0.5% spread or 0.6 or 8 or percent spread there all of a sudden now. And that arbitrage is going to just inherently burn. So I don't know. Those are my 2 cents.
Does it change when, I guess does the number change, for example, in the 17th year burning, over 1 billion PulseX, which is, I don't know, how much is that? 1 billion PulseX is
40,000 almost, or over 40,000.
I'll just change it real quick into dollars and see 1 billion, 30,000. That makes sense. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I guess 30
Yeah.
right now because right. Yep.
Sounds about right.
Don't look at the price chart, but 30,000. Yeah. If that turns into, a billion turns into, instead of $30,000, $3 million, is there going to be like a new movement of like, everyone start using PulseX direct? We got to start. Look how much millions, billions we're burning now. Like, I wonder if the price has any impact on how much it feels like you're contributing to the burn and stuff. I don't know. Something I thought of too.
Oh man, well, this is an interesting one because you're going to have like a bit of an inverse relationship between what's actually happening and the effectiveness of the buy and burn versus the perceived effectiveness of the buy and burn. Because when you have the volatility going through the roof, the price of PulseChain is going through the roof, the volume is crazy high. And let's say there's a ratio at this point in time where there is a ratio of volume to the price of PulseX, right? And right now, we'll say it's probably at one of its lowest points in that ratio, right? The volume is relatively low on the chain, the price of PulseX, meaning that volume is generating the most amount of PulseX burned per dollar right now. But over time, let's say PulseX goes through the roof and the volume only goes up 1 or 2x and PulseX is 1,000x. Now you have this funny situation where people can be freaking out like, oh, look, we're burning like $100,000 a day. We need to like do everything we can to make PulseX burn, when really it's actually burning like 25 times less PulseX than it was at the bottom. But now people care because the numbers are bigger and it seems bigger, but really it's an illusion, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. The price difference, that's something we talked about too, was one of the interesting things about the price. Was it the price going down or what was it? What was the thing that made it burn more? I forget. It's like, oh yeah, the price is going down, but it's going to burn more PulseX, or the volume's going to be, it's going to burn more when the price. Yeah, what was that? I can't remember exactly.
I would say it's just as the price goes down at a point that you're starting to measure from, when the price is decreasing and volume is staying static, decreasing less than or going up, then you'll have an increased buy and burn ratio over time. So if the
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, something along those lines. It's like it's not like black and white. It's pretty. There's a lot of what's it called? It's a spectrum.
Yeah. I wanted to hit up the ratio real quick as well on the Pulse to PulseX, one that's been tracking up for quite a while. I don't know if it's taking a break here for a second. We're going to check, but on the weekly, it has dipped a little bit. Was it 0.07, around that 0.071? It was, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we were at like 1.73, I think, earlier yesterday or the day before.
What is this? When you all see this, like, what is that? What story are we telling now? Like, is it? So we went up so high. What's going on now?
Well, it looks like you definitely broke a trend line that was happening there. So what that says to me is that people have been rotating out of PulseX back into Pulse after it moved far enough that they were satisfied with the gains that they had made in comparison when you have the ratios.
Yeah. Was like 1-to-1. Was that just like this? Okay, that's a little high. Let's maybe start rotating, and Pulse is good now.
That was a little bit high, especially if you consider back in the early days. I think the ratio was 1-to-4.
The sacrifice does not exist. It does not exist.
Yeah, that's true.
To new people. Parentheses, to new people. Yeah.
That's true. But price memory is a thing. It happens in all markets, and crypto is no different. So it will affect it to a degree. The ongoing trends will probably have more of a pronounced effect than price memory. But at the same time, again, I mean, not trying to be Nostradamus here or anything, but like, yeah, people are rotating out. Either that, or you could say that maybe the tokens are moving differently based on their own independent variables. Like, because if we are dividing one asset by another, it also just crosses out the step where you go through the US dollar equivalent. So on just the US dollar equivalent, if one's pumping harder than the other, you will get the ratio change as well.
Yeah. And everyone out there who I know still down on your sack bags, I hear you. Not trying to act like it didn't exist or whatever, but at the same time, it is one of those, I talk about this like moving forward, okay? All the new people we're trying to onboard do not care about sack prices. I know everyone who sacked did, but no new person trying to onboard. You can't be like, oh, look, it's below sack price. I mean, what's the sack price? Like, that's not like the first line of onboarding would be like, oh, this thing is cheap. Well, But and yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting to think about the future too, like how we're gonna. One of the things you mentioned too, Zenith, about the independent variables, and it's going to be. It makes me think like whether it is going to be tied to how much was sacrificed in the future, or will it just split off and be like, this is all about the buy and burn, baby, or this is all about, hey, PulseX has utility now. We had a single size staking, or hey, Pulse, it's the gas token. Everyone loves this thing more than ever. Like all the different pieces that can like paint a new valuation of these tokens. I don't know, just thinking long term here, I think it'll be different than it is today.
No, I think you hit an important point there as well, which is that did a lot of people get into the sacrifice? Yes. Is that going to kind of be the mental anchor point for them? Definitely yes. The new folks, though, they don't have that mental anchor point, so they're looking at now. So it's kind of, when you're looking at the charts in real time, it's what have you done for me lately? And is the price now relatively cheap or inexpensive based on where you think it's going to go, where it has been, and what the roadmap for it looks in the future when it comes to like support and resistance levels. So yeah, it's very easy to get hung up on the sacrifice stuff. But at the same time, though, the market constantly evolves. There's always new ways to look at it, and there's always new perspectives based on where you get in or out.
Just want to take a look at PulseX.com real quick. Websites have been updated for the community. If you have been sleeping under a rock or just not been on X for the last 10 days or so, 15 days, I don't know when it happened, somewhere through there. Number one DEX on PulseChain also has some links here. There's some pretty green links, like a little logo, disappearing logo, like that as well. And it's actually, this is a really good information for people starting just to figure out like how it works and the trading fees, and we'll have the most liquidity in PulseChain, and talks about that. Remember the AMM ratio fixer bot? That was all the rage back then. Mm-hmm. Speaking of like sacrifice times, and the P copies, that was a P copy thing too. So pretty good website. Branding, it's got let's see, go here, it's got the logos and stuff there. On more links, it's right now just has it just has this. I thought I had like some other pieces. Maybe that's just the I thought it had, I guess this is just the links to the list for now. So anyway, stats, PulseChain.com, beautiful stats website now. Pump.tires and Xerox Coast. So I love I feel like everything on the websites are very, Hex.com, PulseChain.com, PulseX, very concise, very much like call to action. Here's what you need to know. Literally, it says, number one DEX on PulseChain, every trade on PulseX buys and burns PLSX, driving scarcity, demand, and potential price upside. We've ran the numbers before. All-time low from PulseX is around 9 cents. Can we get a konnichiwa for 9 cent PulseX? We can as soon as I find it. Fuck.
Konnichiwa!
Boom. Sorry, I'll do that faster next time.
No, I'm glad you weren't asking for one of us to do it. I wasn't sure if you had the meme or not. And I
know. It seemed that way. I was like, oh crap. I'm not no, yes, that was a very like intuition. Oh, you almost so graphics, you almost did a konnichiwa. Okay, next time I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna play the clip. I want to hear
no.
Konnichiwa! Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, maybe we'll see. We'll see. I'll just leave that there.
I'll do it for 10,000X. I'll do it. Pretty good.
I will say, I think PulseChain.com definitely had the biggest glow up when it comes to the websites, because again, for the folks that might not remember, these websites were pretty much ghost sites for about a year and a half there when starting.
It looked like it just launched for like a year and a half. It was like, come on, we just launched a year and a half ago. Come on. Yeah, it was about time, right?
Yeah.
It was right on time, I think.
I like that. I literally think it's right on time. I think there was, of course, no expectations. And if you believe, the PulseChain devs and Richard and everyone actually know what they're doing and are interested in a successful product and stuff, they probably know how to time marketing. They know how to time upgrades, all that stuff appropriately as well. So if anything, when I saw the updates and stuff, it's go time. Sound like go time to me. Sound like pretty good. That doesn't mean immediately. That doesn't mean 10,000X tomorrow, but it certainly seems like things are moving in the right direction and in a pace that's like, all right, it's about to get exciting, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the things I've learned about since building is understanding the importance of understanding what you have as a marketing asset, timing wise. What, like, every action you have, if there's something in the future that's coming up, that's a future potential that you can utilize, and you only get one shot at it, right? So releasing a website, releasing a new thing, coming back and streaming, a marketing campaign, devices, all these things, you only get one shot at using them at the right time, right? Like let's go as far as to say the streaming idea, right? Richard coming back and streaming. That is going to be such a monumental moment when he streams for the first time that you only get that one opportunity when you've been gone for so long to come back and have that level of like, holy shit, right? Like where everyone's telling their friends and, you know, it's mayhem, right? Going to break the internet on that day. So yeah, for things like the website, it seems so small, but the amount of excitement it can create at the right time is you only get one shot with it, and so useful. So to me, that was a big learning that, I don't know if that's a great way to say that, but anyways, you get what I'm saying.
Big takeaway.
Thank you. That was the big learning.
Big learning. I get it.
I learned big.
Learned
bigly.
Bigly.
I learned bigly.
All right. Before we move on to the Unity project, just want to talk about the farms. Everyone forgot about the farms, maybe because ink inflation so low, hard to get that ink token. But APR is still around, I got 12% for the stable coins, a couple of them at least. And wow, man, less than 1% for the ink. Man, that used to be way different, much more. However, yeah, things could change. Knobs can turn, prices can move, all that stuff as well.
The big knob to turn is the hard to see one there, and it's in the very top left, which says inflation 0.03 incentive per second. That used to be, say, 1. So we've had a 97% decrease in the incentive token emissions, which it's called incentive token for a reason. It is the incentive to stake here instead of anywhere else. And, well, the APRs suggest that people follow the incentives.
Wow. I mean, it used to not even have that little ticker there, so you just kind of had to look it up or just know it said, you know, it was the one ink or all those different things. And then they added that. Now, remember, I literally did a stream and that they added this ticker of like, hey, it says how much ink there is. And then I think the next 2 upgrades were literally turning it down again and again, like the happening again. And I was like, oh, I think I clipped it. I was like, hey, there's a reason they put this here. I think, you know, it's probably going to change in some way. And then what do you know? It halved. The halvenings occurred around that time. So hard to get, more scarce, maybe with demand means price go largely up. Yes, bullish on too.
The more, I think a better version of saying that is incentive token will show you how much liquidity is in the pools, and then price moves based on the proportion of liquidity in the pools and the amount that it changes. So I think this is something that we saw when we reduced the amount of incentive token being emitted there, is that we reduced the size of the pools. The idea there was that it should be easier to pump, but understand it's also a double-edged sword, meaning it's also easier to drop price as well.
Yep. Increased volatility is the easy way to capture both of those. Yep.
Bingo.
But yeah, that was, it was very interesting, because I think there was a time when we were there, I was seeing those conversations pop up. I actually made a video on this idea where he could, come out and do something with the farms to lower liquidity. And like 2 weeks later, he did this. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't think that was actually going to happen, but okay, here we are. Wow. So, but the point is, it's like, so he really is setting this whole ecosystem up for maximum potency with every move that's made. Every dollar can pump the ecosystem the most. Every move can market the most, get most people excited. You can see that there's like this level of refinement that's happening right now. And it's a big setup on a foundational level. So it's also crazy to see how many people are still in the pools, even though there's 4% APR or 1.3% APR, and people just leaving millions of dollars liquidity there. I mean, that's cool, man, but also surprising.
Yeah, it's great. It's got to be, so many times, it's got to be season of price go up. Like, if you're not earning ink that's worth a lot of money, you know, why would you be in the pools? If you're not earning hex worth a lot of money and you're not getting a large, you know, percentage yield, why are you going to stake hex? Got to be another reason to help you make that decision. And I certainly hope its price go up very, very much. make it to make all the make lack of inflation great again. There you go. We're gonna keep doing we're gonna keep going through the greatest hits here. Apparently, you started off with Bigly, so we're gonna.
That's a T-shirt right there.
Yeah, that's a new T-shirt. I don't know. I like this T-shirt though. HODL PulseX. Check that out. Boom.
Nice.
That's a good one.
It's a good one. Classic.